Can you imagine your neighborhood dictator trying to steal your lifeline, right in front of your own house? That's exactly what happened to me, Mark Thompson, in the quiet cul-de-sacs of Pinecrest Grove. I'd been a resident for nearly a decade, keeping my head down, mowing my lawn, paying my dues. No drama, no fuss. But all that changed when Linda Harper, or as we all whispered behind her back, the Queen of Complaints, got herself elected as our HOA president. Buckle up, because this story is wilder than anything you'd scroll past on the internet. Linda hit the ground running, her reign starting with a clipboard and a vendetta. She was the kind of person who'd measure your grass with a ruler and leave a violation notice if it was half an inch too long. No trash cans could peek out from your garage. No cars could linger on the street past midnight. Christmas lights? Only between December 1st and January 5th, or you'd get a fine faster than you could untangle your extension cords. She'd patrol our streets in her pristine white SUV, sunglasses perched on her head like a crown, scribbling notes, with the glee of a kid snitching in class. Most of us just sighed, complied, and prayed she'd skip our house on her daily rounds. I did my best to stay in VY Cybele, but fate had other plans. It all started when my hearing began to fade fast. One day I could hear the birds chirping, the next, conversations sounded like they were underwater. My doctor diagnosed me with sudden sensorineural hearing loss in my right ear, and my left wasn't far behind. I needed hearing aids, and not the off-the-shelf kind. These were custom, high-tech devices tailored to my specific hearing profile. The audiologist rushed the order, and the medical device company promised next-day delivery, complete with a technician to walk me through the setup. I took a day off work, parked myself by the window, and waited, my stomach in knots. Losing my hearing so suddenly was terrifying, and those little devices were my ticket back to normal. Around 10 a.m., a delivery van rolled up. The driver, a guy in a crisp uniform with the company's logo, hopped out with a small package and a tablet. I cracked my front door open, relief washing over me. But before he could make it halfway up my driveway, a white SUV screeched to a stop, boxing in the van like it was a police sting. Out stepped Linda, in her unofficial HOA uniform, khaki pants ironed to perfection, a polo with the Pinecrest logo stitched on it, and those oversized sunglasses now slid down to her nose. She looked like she was auditioning for a role as a suburban dictator. "Excuse me," she barked, her voice dripping with that fake politeness that's really just a threat in disguise. The driver froze, confused. "Sir, I'm just delivering a package to this address," he said, nodding toward me. Linda planted herself between him and my house like a human barricade. "Commercial deliveries are strictly prohibited without prior board approval," she declared, clutching her clipboard like it was the Constitution. The driver blinked. "Ma'am, this is a residential delivery. It's medical equipment." But Linda was on a roll. "Our bylaws state commercial vehicles are only allowed between 1 and 4 p.m. on weekdays, and all deliveries must be pre-approved via Form P9, submitted 72 hours in advance." I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I stepped onto my porch, my blood already simmering. "Linda, this is my hearing aid delivery. I need these today. It's urgent." She barely glanced at me, her eyes locked on the driver. "Rules are rules, Mark. If this was so urgent, you should have filed the proper paperwork." I laughed, though there was nothing funny about it. "There's no such form, Linda. And this is a medical necessity, not some Amazon package." The driver tried to sidestep her, holding out the package. "Sir, if you could just sign here." "Don't move!" Linda snapped, raising her hand like she was directing traffic. "I'm the HOA president, and I decide what deliveries happen in this community." By now, a few neighbors had wandered out, drawn by the commotion. Mrs. Jenkins from across the street stood with her dog, eyebrows raised. The guy next door leaned against his mailbox, phone already recording. Linda thrived on the audience, her voice getting louder, her gestures more theatrical. "I'm calling security," she announced, whipping out her phone. Pinecrest didn't have Security. We had Tom, a retired cop who cruised through occasionally, mostly to wave at kids. But Linda had started calling him our security detail, like we were levying in a gated fortress. The driver looked at me, apologetic. Sir, I've got other deliveries. I can try to come back tomorrow. No way, I shot back. Linda, you have zero authority to stop a medical delivery to my home. She was already dialing, smirking. Actually, as president, I have full authority to enforce community standards. Section 7, Paragraph 4 prohibits unscheduled commercial activity. I stepped closer, straining to hear her over the ringing in my ears. Those rules are for businesses, not personal deliveries. And medical devices are exempt, Linda. You're out of line. The driver made one last attempt to hand me the package, but Linda physically blocked him, stepping so close he had to back up. If you hand that over, I'll report you for trespassing, she hissed. That was it. I'd had enough. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. Hi, I need to report someone interfering with the delivery of a prescribed medical device. Linda's head snapped toward me, her sunglasses nearly falling off. Are you serious right now? I'm enforcing the rules. I ignored her, explaining to the dispatcher how our HOA president was holding my hearing aids hostage. Linda, undeterred, started lecturing the growing crowd about property values and community standards, all while trying to snatch the package from the driver. He held it high, dodging her like a kid playing keep away. The neighbors whispered, some snickering, others shaking their heads. 10 minutes later, a police cruiser pulled up. Officer Sarah Bennett, who I'd seen at neighborhood barbecues, stepped out, her expression a mix of curiosity and amusement. Linda pounced before I could open my mouth. Officer, I'm Linda Harper, president of Pinecrest Grove HOA. This delivery violates our bylaws, and this resident is encouraging it. Sarah turned to me, one eyebrow raised. These are my prescription hearing aids, I said, pointing to the package. I'm losing my hearing fast, and I need them now. Linda's physically stopping the delivery. Sarah nodded and looked at the driver. Is this medical equipment? Yes, ma'am, he said. Custom hearing aids from SoundCare Medical. Needs a signature and setup instructions. Sarah turned back to Linda. Ma'am, you can't block delivery of prescribed medical devices. That's interfering with medical care. Linda's face turned beet red. This isn't about medical care. It's about protocol. Sarah cut her off. HOA rules don't override someone's right to medical equipment. Step aside and let this delivery happen. What happened next left everyone's jaws on the ground. Instead of backing down, Linda lunged forward and yanked the package from the driver's hands. If no one else will enforce the rules, I will, she shouted, clutching my hearing aids like a trophy. The crowd gasped. The driver looked stunned. Sarah's face hardened. Ma'am, return that package now, she said, her hand resting on her belt. Linda doubled down, hugging the box tighter. This is HOA property until it's properly approved. Sarah stepped closer, her voice like steel. Ms. Harper, that's a prescribed medical device. You're committing theft and interfering with medical equipment. Last warning. The neighbors were dead silent, phones still rolling. I thought Linda might finally cave, her eyes darting like a cornered animal. But then she bolted. She spun on her heel and speed-walked toward her SUV, my hearing aids still in her grip. She's stealing my medical device! I yelled, my heart pounding. Sarah didn't hesitate. She called for Linda to stop, but when she kept going, Sarah moved fast, cutting her off before she reached her car. Linda tried to dodge, nearly dropping the package in the scramble. As she fumbled, Sarah grabbed her arm, twisting it gently but firmly behind her back. Linda Harper, you're under arrest for theft of medical equipment and obstruction, Sarah said, snapping on handcuffs. The package fell into Sarah's other hand, safe at last. This is outrageous, Linda screeched, her face a mask of fury. I'm the HOA president. You can't arrest me for upholding standards. Sarah stayed calm, reading Linda her rights as she led her to the cruiser. The neighbors erupted in whispers, some cheering quietly, others still filming. The driver handed me my hearing aids, shaking his head. 15 years delivering, and I've never seen anything like this. The fallout was swift. 3 days later, at an emergency HOA meeting, the board booted Linda from her throne unanimously. But that was just the start. The district attorney threw the book at her: interference with medical equipment, a misdemeanor, plus attempted theft and disorderly conduct. At her sentencing, the judge had zero patience for Linda's claims that she was just doing her job. She got slapped with a due law $5,000 fine, 2 years of probation, and 100 hours of community service, specifically with groups advocating for people with disabilities. As the gavel fell, Linda's face crumpled, her mouth flapping silently like she couldn't believe the real world had finally caught up. Looking back, I still can't believe it went that far. All I wanted was to hear again, but Linda turned it into a neighborhood showdown. My hearing aids work like a charm now, but every time I adjust them, I think of that day, the day our HOA tyrant learned the hard way that some rules don't bend, but neither does justice. What do you think? Could you stay calm with someone like Linda in your face? Or would you have called 911 even faster?